On June the 8th, the people of Britain will be heading to the polls to elect members of the country's parliament. Now, if my figure is correct, about 10 British Nigerians, if you like, would be on the ballot. They are all running on different political platforms. Now, one of them is Temitope Olodo, who is vying for a seat in the UK Parliament under the platform of Christian People's Alliance Party. Olodo is seeking to represent Erith and Thamesmead constituency in London. Having worked in different capacities, both in the public and private sector for over a decade, Olodo wants to take up a new challenge in politics. Temitope now joins us all the way from London to talk about the coming elections. Temitope, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, let me say congratulations for at least summoning the courage to run. It's actually not easy to, decide, to make up one's mind to run for a political office. I mean, we know how tough it can be, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere. But first, let me start by asking you why exactly you are running to be MP for your constituency.
Thank you for asking me. I think one of the greatest challenge for us at this time is, as you know, a lot of us who are British born and who are British citizens have our children and other members of our family here in the UK. And whatever is affecting the UK economy or affecting the UK people is affecting us also. And I'm hugely affected by a lot of policies that are being made by politicians in Westminster. And I've worked in that environment or around that square. I've worked in government for over 9 years, from being an assistant director within UK Border Agency, to working within the counterterrorism section in Her Majesty government. So this is another step in a different direction, but looking at ways in which I could add value, to the British people and the people within the area that I am contesting for the election.
And I think it's important because you just talked about some of the things you've actually done before now. But let me just for the benefit of those who may not know that apart from being a preventive terrorism consultant and expert, that you actually, as you said, of course, you actually worked as assistant director in the UK Border Agency, and you were at one time a senior manager in the Office for Security and Counterterrorism. You've said that. And you were actually seconded as consultant now for the London 2012 Olympic project. And you're a former special police constable with actually Kent Police. And no doubt, of course, you've been very active on TV and, of course, radio and newspaper. You've been very active. Temitope, this is where I have a problem with your ambition. Before we talk about some of the things you're telling your constituents now, let me start by asking you, it's something we see in Nigeria here. In this country, there are quite a number of political parties here, but broadly speaking, we have two major political parties, and people tend to take you seriously if you're running on the platform of either of these two major political parties. In the United Kingdom, as we speak, there are two major political parties. Of course, we're not talking about the Liberal Democrat now. We know, of course, it did well in the last election. But then the Conservative Party and the Labour Party are the two major parties in that country. And you think your Christian People's, is it Christian People's, what's the name of your party again? I think Christian People's, I'm just trying to get the name now. Now, yes, Christian People's Alliance or Christian Alliance, you think you stand a chance with that party?
Yes, one of the beauty of democracy is that everybody has a right to hear their voice. And I know you are a student of politics and a guru in political analysis. And you will have noticed that there's a gentleman called Nigel Farage who did not win any political seat, at least in British politics. But his party had 4 million votes. And with that 4 million votes, they were able to influence policy. And more or less, we could say they are responsible for us being in Brexit. having voted for Brexit because their party campaigned vigorously for us getting out of Europe. And when you consider the fact that there's 58.5 million, 58.5% of Christian population in the United Kingdom, with a 45% population ratio of ethnic minority in the Thamesmead area, there is a good chance that I could swing things around. Of course, it's past the vote, past the ballot post, which means that I need to fight against 21,000 majority that the Labour Party candidate currently have. But can these dry bones come back to life? Only God knows. If I do my homework well, from what I've been doing, knocking on the doors, and speaking to people within the area, a lot of them are fed up with both the Conservative and Labour Party. I might be able to persuade few of them, to vote for me, and I'll be able to make a change in terms of what is happening. Taking into consideration that a lot of people want change, and that's the beauty of the British politics. If you are able to make changes, then you can.
Tell me how. Do you face any difficulty at all as as a black man running for elections in the UK? Do you face any difficulty, any challenge at all?
It's interesting that I was on the streets today speaking to people, and even the white colleagues or members within my constituency. When I approach them, they get a bit angry because they think I'm Labour. And I'm saying, no, I'm not Labour, I'm Christian Alliance Party. And they are happy and excited and saying to me, yes, we're going to vote for you because we need people with integrity getting involved in politics. The UK population are not hostile to ethnic minorities. It's just that they've been overwhelmed by people coming from every place and overwhelming their hospitals, overwhelming schools, and government not putting in place right policies to ensure that all the people that have come in are absorbed. But once we have a balanced and controlled immigration, then what we'll find out that Britain will continue. People have been traveling to the United Kingdom from the 30s. They've never been that hostile to people, and that's the reason why we need to just have a sensible immigration policy, and everything will be okay. I was born in the United Kingdom, in the 60s, and my parents, after graduating or after their education and what they've come to the United Kingdom to do, they traveled back to Nigeria. Nigeria was a good place for my dad, who was a qualified lawyer. He came back and started working in his chambers, or created work in some organization before starting his own chambers. My mom also did the same and started working. So, but unfortunately, people are not returning back to Nigeria, and I will not blame them or returning back to any other country. People want to stay because there's 24 hours electricity, there's everything, and UK economy is quite buoyant, and that's what we need to make sure that is happening around the world. And the fact that we have Nigerians standing in Parliament means that it will also help the British government to understand better, how strengthen our relationship between the British government and the Nigerian government.
Well, Temitope, we can only wish you the best of luck. The elections, of course, comes up. The election actually comes up on the 8th of June. Let's just hope your Christian People's Alliance Party now is able to do well. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the PDP crisis and, of course, be talking to one of the big wigs of that party. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.